I've made over $100,000 from my Faceless YouTube automation channel, and in this video, I'll show you exactly how I did it. I started this Faceless channel less than 2 years ago, and have only uploaded 40 total videos, which has already gotten me over 230,000 subscribers. You might be wondering how this is all possible. So today, I'll share the 5-part framework that I use and show you exactly how I've made $100,000 from this channel so you can achieve similar results. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this situation, because it used to look a lot different. First, let me start out with showing you some proof, because a lot of people make claims like this without actually backing it up. So far, I've made over $35,000 from YouTube AdSense alone. And this is where YouTube pays me for every view I get. AdSense is great, but if you want to make real money on YouTube, then you need other revenue streams. I'll be showing you how I made the rest of the 100K later in this video. But for the money to make sense, we need to start at the beginning. A few years ago, I learned about this concept called YouTube automation. I kept hearing all the gurus say that it was the best online business opportunity and that you could make hundreds of thousands of dollars a day on autopilot. But it's not what you think. I spent a full year following their advice, and almost every channel I made very little money or would only get like 57 views. It made no sense. I was listening to everything they told me, so why wasn't I getting results? After investigating, I realized that most of these gurus were not actually growing Faceless YouTube channels themselves. The truth is, the advice they were giving me wasn't based on any of their own experience or success. After realizing this, I threw away all their outdated advice and decided to try something different. My goal was simple. I wanted to get 10,000 subscribers within 1 year and make at least $1,000 online. But to do that, I knew I would need a new framework. So I locked myself in my Batcave and decided to binge watch and analyze the top 100 Faceless YouTube videos of all time. And guys, I calculated it and I literally watched about 137 hours of brain rot videos, but it was worth it because what I discovered would change the game forever. This is the new framework that I'd be using to get my first 10,000 subscribers within 1 year and hopefully make some money from it. Part 1 is called idea hunting. The truth is, the decisions that you make on day 1 of starting your channel are going to impact how much money you'll be able to make from your channel on day 1,000. And 99.9% of YouTubers I see are skipping this critical step that I'm about to share with you. The top creators on YouTube spend hours and thousands of dollars on this step for a reason. It's not thumbnails, it's not editing, and it's not scripting, but it's very likely the reason that your videos aren't getting any views right now. Here's how it works. You're going to come into YouTube and search for a niche that's slightly similar to yours. So for example, if you're in the fitness niche, then we want to look at videos in niches like weight loss, calisthenics, or bodybuilding. You're going to come in, you're going to find a video that has performed well in that similar niche. Then you're going to study the framework of that video and plug in a similar idea into your niche like this. The reason this works so well is because you've found a proven idea from another niche, and then you've brought this framework into your own niche where you can trigger the algorithm. And speaking of triggering the algorithm, if you guys could quickly hit the like button below, which should have just lit up because I know cool tricks, that would be very helpful. 99% of YouTubers skip the idea hunting step. They work super hard on some video, then they upload it, and then it only gets 47 views and like 5 of those are from their little brother. In my journey, I realized that most people were doing this because they were following bad, outdated advice like,
just be consistent.
Which, by the way, isn't true at all. In fact, my channel got over 23,000 views on its very first video in just the first 60 days. I also got my first 1,000 subscribers in less than 1 month. And it's not just me or the niche that I'm in. Look at my client in Content MBA who's in the dating niche, and he got over 100,000 views on his very first video. He literally got monetized from one single video. Imagine what that would feel like. His channel's also entirely faceless, and he had almost no experience before he started building this brand. Oh, and it's not just YouTube, by the way. We got his first 2,000 followers on Instagram within the first 30 days. Moving on, now we need to come to step 2. Getting views. Now, you could make the greatest YouTube video in the world, but if you can't get people to actually come click on the video in the first place, then you're totally screwed. Titles and thumbnails are the only chance you have at getting someone to click and watch your video, so take this part seriously. What do you notice about these two thumbnails? Same niche, right? but one makes me want to fall asleep, while the other makes me feel like I need to click this video or I'm missing out. Your titles and thumbnails need to do 3 things. They need to catch people's attention, look interesting, and create FOMO. See how much more this catches your attention than this one does? Notice how the colors and the vibe make it far more catchy than this one. And something I never hear other creators talk about is creating FOMO with your titles and thumbnails. In case you don't know what FOMO is, it stands for fear of missing out. It's that same feeling you got in high school when your friends would invite you out to a party, and even though you knew it wasn't a good idea to go, you just felt like you had to be there because maybe your crush would be there or something like that. Hopefully that wasn't just me. Whenever someone sees your title and thumbnail, they should be feeling like they're gonna miss out on something if they don't decide to watch it. My videos all do this to some degree, and it's a big reason that I have such a high click-through rate. And speaking of my videos, do you notice how all my thumbnails have a similar brand? This is also something I never got from any of the gurus, but it's so important. Your YouTube titles and thumbnails should feel recognizable to the point where your audience should know it's you without even seeing your name attached to it. For example, imagine if my feed looked like this. You guys would never know that it's one of my videos, and you'd probably skip right past a lot of these. I could write a full novel on click-through rate psychology, and I'll make a longer video on this next month, so make sure you're subscribed. Just for context, on this video, I spent over 9 hours on titles, keyword research, and thumbnails alone. And you can only imagine how much more time I spent scripting this video. The gurus like to call this YouTube automation to make it sound easy, but to make quality videos like this, there is very little automation in it at all. In fact, this is more of an accurate representation of what my life feels like at times. But then I went on Love is Blind to find my true love.
Meet your future wife. Her name is YouTube.
Yep, I'm married to the game at this point. But the good news is I love what I do so much, and it allows me to work my own hours from anywhere in the world. In fact, Faceless YouTube videos literally make me money while I'm sleeping. Like this morning, I literally rolled out of bed at 10 o'clock and woke up to $3,000 in my Stripe account. Again, more on that coming later in this video. Moving on to part 3, storytelling. When I first started on YouTube, I sucked at scripting. A lot of the gurus were telling me to outsource this to some guy on Fiverr, but that was a huge mistake. Even though ghostwriting might work for Drizzy Drake, you need to learn this yourself, especially when you're trying to get traction on a small channel. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret that changed my entire life. Stop calling it scripting and instead call it storytelling. Everyone talks about scripting and how important it is and how much it helps your video, but no one was actually teaching me how to storytell. Everybody on YouTube just says, okay, it's gotta have a beginning, a middle, a climax, and an end. But this formula didn't work, and it's probably what's holding you back from views like this too. Scripting is dull, but storytelling is colorful and magical. There are 3 types of storytelling on YouTube. You can script like an entertainment channel.
I just built this bunker, and these 2 people who have never met each other are going to attempt to live down here for the next 100 days.
You can script like an educational channel.
If you're trying to implement complex data projects with people who don't have great data skills,
or you can script like what I like to call an infotainment channel. Maybe a few OnlyFans models, and that was when I discovered it. This is our new formula. You're learning about something while also being entertained. It's educational, but it's also still engaging. Once I learned the art of storytelling with educational content like this, everything changed for me, and it's actually a lot easier than you think. One Sunday afternoon, I came across this chart, and this is the strategy that almost every successful YouTuber is using, and I use it on almost every video that I upload. The best part is that this applies to any niche, so you can use it in your next video and it's gonna make a difference. The journey begins and ends here, which is called the ordinary world. But to reach the end of this cycle, then you're gonna need to go through these sections. And this is the adventure. There are technically 12 total points that you need to pass through along the way, but the most important ones and the ones that you should remember are that you experience a call to adventure, that you face the challenges that you experienced on the journey, and then you share the rewards that you experienced, and then again return back to the ordinary world. And you can literally use this YouTube video as an example. I started this video by telling you that a few years ago, I was just like you with very little experience on YouTube. Then I learned about YouTube automation and felt that call to adventure. Then I went through some very difficult challenges, thanks to the fake gurus out there. I started some successful channels, some that died, and soon I'm gonna be showing you the best results that I've gotten so far. And then finally, I'll wrap up by returning to that ordinary world with you at the end. Keep this in mind as you continue watching this video, because this is all very strategic. Every single one of the videos that I put out either follows this framework or one of the other 3 that I teach inside of Content MBA. And you're gonna start noticing it while you watch some of your other favorite YouTubers. And guys, I dare you to try this, because you're gonna start seeing results just like what happens in part 4, editing. Now look, it's no secret that my editor is an absolute G. But what if I told you that you actually don't need to edit like me to be successful on YouTube? Look, this guy has over 100,000 views on his video with literally 0 cuts in it. And look at one of my Content MBA students. She uses a totally different style of editing, and she already has over 100,000 subscribers from just 25 videos. So the big question is, what editing style should you use? Well, your editing really depends on what niche you're in. If you're talking about scary stories, then you're probably gonna edit a lot differently than someone who's talking about real estate. Just for the sake of this example, let's edit 2 versions of the same sentence just to prove how much of a difference this can make. Here's the first one. There is a lost art to making banger YouTube videos. What the fuck? And now, let's compare that to this.
Every action takes
Nothing is more
intuition. Well, ideally, you should have started the creation is a repetition that way.
There is a lost art to making banger YouTube videos. You can see the obvious improvement. So what can you learn from this? Obviously, editing is important because these little details are what cause viewers to hit the like button below like a slot machine. Yes, that was a reminder. I spend thousands of dollars and my team spends hundreds of hours editing every one of my videos. And based on the feedback that we get from you guys, it seems like it's well worth it. Oh, and by the way, guys, I get hit up all the time to promote these AI editing tools, but in my opinion, not many of them are that great. So I'm actually building my own right now. If you want to be the first to hear about that tool, make sure that you sign up for the waitlist below. Moving on to part 5, monetization. And yes, this is what you have all been waiting for. This is that part of the cycle where I share the results with you. As I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest lessons I learned in my early days on YouTube was that the decisions that you make on day 1 will directly impact how much money you can make on day 1000. One of the channels I started in the early days was a viral repost channel of funny viral clips. Now, I thought that this was a smart move because it was really easy to go viral and get a lot of traction. And I did. I got like 35,000 subs in the first 2 months of the channel, and it felt amazing. But I soon realized that these were just vanity metrics, because despite the crazy views and growth, I was still making almost no money from it. I tried all the normal methods of monetization, but nothing was working. The AdSense was super low, nobody wanted to buy any of my affiliate links, and I reached out to plenty of brands, but none of the good ones really wanted to sponsor my channel. I realized that this was all because of the decision that I made on day 1 back here. This financial pain could have been avoided if I had just chosen a better niche and spent my energy differently. Now, I've built channels and accounts in travel, fitness, motivation, health, and wealth. And I can tell you that these are some of my favorite niches today, depending on what your goals are. But how did I make $100,000 from my Faceless YouTube channel? As I told you, I've made about $37,000 from AdSense since I started this channel so far. The way that works is basically every 1,000 views I get, YouTube pays me around $5. This is my RPM, or revenue per mila. And that is different than CPM, which is cost per mila. CPM is how much advertisers pay for 1,000 views to run those annoying ads that you see before my videos. And RPM is how much I actually keep in my pocket after YouTube takes their cut. Now this is great money, obviously, but my RPMs are actually much lower than other niches like real estate, investing, health, e-commerce, or software. So if I wanted to actually make $100,000 from this channel, I knew that I needed to find other sources of revenue to make that happen. But the big question was, how? Solving that was actually harder than I thought. In the past, when I'd try to monetize my accounts, I always made the mistake of coming up with an idea in my head and then spending a bunch of time on it without asking my audience if it was something that they actually wanted. I call that shiny object syndrome, because I'd come up with some shiny object in my head only to realize that my audience guys didn't actually want it and that it sounded a lot better in my head than in reality. So this time I did something different. I let you guys tell me what you wanted. And for me, that was 3 things. The 3 things that I kept hearing you guys say over and over were that you wanted better tools, a digital course on how to grow, and 1v1 mentorship with me. So after validating these ideas, I got to work. I went deeper into my YouTube Batcave and spent the last year developing systems and building the processes to help as many of you as possible with my new program, Content MBA. I worked 1v1 with clients to help them 10x their accounts, and I got in touch with the best tools in the game to partner with and sponsor videos on my channel. So the big question is, was this all worth it? And now it's time to actually show you how I made $100,000 from this channel and live footage from the start of how it all went down.
Heart's been broken too many times. I don't know what to believe. Coward! You make me sick.
No, leave me alone.
Hiding in the shadows. Hiding from who you truly are.
I know.
They need you, Dip. This is your duty.
So guys, I have a confession to make. I actually lied to you at the beginning of this video. My Faceless YouTube automation channel has not actually made $100,000 since I started. The truth is, my Faceless YouTube automation channel actually made over $100,000 just last month.
What? What the f***?
That's right, in one single month alone, this YouTube channel made over $100,000. And here's the proof. These aren't some fake edited screenshots. You can see the dates here, and I'll even put my name up here so you can see it. I earned this from 4 main revenue sources: YouTube AdSense, which we already covered, affiliate deals and sponsorships. Like, you might have noticed that 2 of my last 3 videos were talking about new tools so you guys can use to make money. The next one is 1v1 mentorship, where I help people grow their Instagram or their YouTube channel. And the final one is my new Content MBA program, where I teach you exactly how I get views like this and position my channel or my Instagram account in a way that generates results like these. And guys, people inside are getting insane results too. Look at this channel. She just started a few months ago and already has over 100,000 subscribers from just 25 videos. And I'll pop her testimonial on screen about Content MBA. She's literally gonna pass me, which is so cool when a student outperforms a teacher. It feels so amazing that the program that I've created over the last year has helped tons of other Faceless channels, personal brands, and Instagram accounts to achieve results like these. But guys, before you ever consider starting this journey, I do have one question that you need to ask yourself. And this question is actually the bonus step in my framework, and without this one, literally none of the other steps matter. You need to ask yourself why. Why do this? Why start a YouTube channel or an Instagram page? Because if you have a strong enough why, then you're gonna be able to accomplish anything. Let me give you an example. If I asked you if you thought you'd make $250,000 in the next year, would you say yes? Most of you would probably say no, right? But what if I told you that you'd be locked up in jail for the rest of your life and that you'd never see your loved ones again if you didn't make $250,000 in the next year? Odds are that you'd probably be a little bit more confident that you'd find a way to make that happen, right? You'd probably stop playing video games, going out every weekend, and instead you'd be spending your time and energy finding a way to reach your goal. In these 2 scenarios, there's only one thing that actually changed, and that is your why. My why is strong enough to me that I basically spend all of my time coaching clients, creating better products than my competitors, and making content that gives you the truth about what actually works in a space where so many people have misled you for so long. That way, you can get results like my clients do, so we can all cash in on this digital gold rush that we're living in. And I'm actually not a big fan of sharing revenue stats like this because I want you guys to subscribe to me for the value that I provide rather than me trying to flex my lifestyle like everyone else does. But in this video, I did want to show you what is possible when you know how to play the game right. So now that you have the framework at your fingertips and you know what's achievable, it's time to get to work. And guys, I can't wait to see you on the other side.